Hello there. How's everyone doing? I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I think there's a possibility that I might get my hair cut shorter. I'm not sure. Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? Yes, we are. We will find out. Kelly Nunez, 9974. Hi, how are you doing? Welcome in. You were my first person here. Kelly Nunez, have you ever been a moderator before? Oh yeah, you have. So you know that the main job of a moderator is to keep the chat flowing. It's not to. The only things that I do not want in my chat or texted in my chat are anything that is anti-Semitic. That means talking bad about Jewish people. None of that. That's an automatic. You hide people. You get rid of those people. Anti-Semitism is not allowed on my channel, Kelly. Any kind of racial bigotry or racism, no matter who it's against, is not allowed on my channel. That's, yeah, get rid of them, permanent. No talking about anybody that comes in here that texts anything about hurting any women or children, they go too. So it's those three rules basically. Anything else they can talk about. They can talk about Trump, Iran. They can talk about, I don't know. You know, you get people in here who want to talk about politics. This is not like you and I both know this is not a political channel, right? And they, you know, talking bad about Obama, talking about bad about Trump, talking about Ronald Reagan, even going all the way back to like George Bush Jr. and I've had people come in here and talk about all kinds of ridiculous things that I don't want to talk about. The newspapers are largely lying or bending the truth to everyone anyway. So why, you know, I don't want to ban any of that. It's just the three things: no anti-Semitism on Hollywoodland22, no racial bigotry text, and no, what's the other one? No talking about hurting women and children. You can talk all the communist stuff you want. If you're a communist, and go ahead, I'll care. But this is not a political channel. This is a channel that I'm not. This is Hollywoodland22. What I am is I'm non-monetized. I don't look like Michael tonight. Hey, bro, you know Liverpool? No, I actually don't, but I know about it. I know it's a major city in I believe, England. Am I correct? Is Liverpool in Scotland or England? Yeah, I don't want to talk about anti-Zionism either. I want to not talk about that. That's a subject that's not for this channel. Yeah, we're not going to talk about all this Israel stuff and Palestine stuff. That stuff, you're just going to get blocked. You can go somewhere else for that. Yeah, that's another one. Any anti-Zionism. I know. I'm sorry, Kelly. You might not understand all these different things. Oh, you cannot moderate. Okay, you cannot. That's fine. But I'm glad I said those things anyway. I really do not get a lot of like trolls in this channel. This is not a channel where we talk about that kind of stuff very often. We talk about things like absolutely nothing. We talk about my diet soda that I drink that's generic because I'm frugal. We talk about, my God, this was a stressful day. Oh my Lord, it's Saturday and I had to go make bread. I, wow. From 6 in the morning until now. I need some rest, people. This is not for money. Not now. This is not a monetized YouTube channel. I'm not going to monetize this until I get to, I might monetize it at 5,000 subscribers. I'm Hollywoodland22. If you could do me a really big favor and hit the subscribe button, I would be very happy. That's going to help me out a lot. And it's going to make, it'll make the experience for all of us a lot better. We can get a lot of people in this channel talking about, which is what my goal is. My goal is to have a channel where people are talking about the really important subjects. We have fun here. We also want to talk about really important subjects and talk about other channels also where you can learn more, even more about psychology, subjects like spirituality. I'm really good at staying stopped off of alcohol. I can teach you how to get off of drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, any kind of addiction issues. I got the solution. If you want that, if you want to talk about Jesus here, you can talk about Jesus here all you want, because I'm a Protestant Christian, but I'm a little baby Christian. I can assure you that there are people that have channels on YouTube and TikTok both, and other platforms that know a lot more about spiritual nature things than I do. I'm actually learning from them. I know that I do not know everything. I know what my IQ is. It's above average, but I am not a genius. My IQ was clocked at, as a child, it was clocked at 129. And as an adult, that was in the first grade. 129, they wanted me to skip 2 grades. My parents said no, that they didn't think that I would socially adjust to being around 3rd graders in the 1st grade. At the age of 6, they thought that was the wrong thing to do. So it was at the parents' discretion, and they decided to keep me back in the 1st grade instead of taking me to the 3rd grade. But it was 129. The child study team figured that out. 129 is above average. It's well above average. It's not genius though. It's rather gifted, but it's not. Genius is like 140. I know a live streamer that I suspect has. I know a live streamer on a different platform, actually on the TikTok platform, that I have a lot of people in my family. I have some people in my family that have genius IQs. I do not, but some are with us, some have passed away, and they had like 140 IQ or more, and they were tested. They worked for the federal government, or they worked as contractors, military or contractors for the federal government. My father, some of my uncles, other family members that lived around the Washington, D.C. area. My father hired a guy one time that had an IQ over 200 that was immeasurable. This was the smartest person I ever met in my entire life. I was just totally blown away. This guy was into everything. He could write electronic music that was beautiful. He was an aerospace engineer and a computer-aided design guy and an aerospace engineer. He designed satellites that were better than any of the satellites that they had to be put into a rocket and put up in outer space and actually work. They were intricate. He was very involved this employee of my father was very involved with other aerospace engineers that worked out at Jet Propulsion Laboratories in Pasadena, California, with putting together parts of the first remote controlled cars to go on Mars, and also of the parachute of thinking up the idea of using parachute material, not parachute material, of spacesuit material to form into a three-sided pyramid, right? A three-sided pyramid. I'm gonna mess my hair up today. Check that out. Okay, so, and they shaped it into like, not a pyramid like the Giza pyramid in Egypt, but three sides. So when it landed, the remote control car is inside of this pyramid that is constructed of spacesuit material. It comes down, the rocket takes it above the atmosphere. It's a very thin atmosphere, Mars. And then they use a parachute with a certain kind of material. Some other company made the parachute. And then it comes in, and then it has to land. Well, you don't want to break the remote control car or the ramp it comes off of, the contraption that surrounds it. So when the spacesuit material that is shaped in the form of a three-sided pyramid hits the intended drop-off location, it hits on the corners and it goes bing, 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 and quickly goes flat. It goes flat, and then somehow by remote control, I'm not sure how it's done. My father passed away, so I could talk to some of his former employees and they could explain it to me when I get to the celebration of life that I'm supposed to go to. That's later on this spring for my father's passing this last October. But I want to ask them how that was deflated. It deflates, and then you have this contraption with the ramps that go like this. They come down, and the remote control car is in there. It comes down. Either they put up its camera first, has cameras. It has like instruments to detect, like, you know, if there's anything blowing around up there, all kinds of stuff. And then it comes off of the ramp and goes down onto the Martian surface, and it is remotely controlled, and it just goes all around looking for stuff. What they're looking for, I don't know. I'd have to ask. I have a lot of questions for my father's former employees at his company that he had. I'm really into Mars. I don't want to go myself, but I'm into the whole remote control car on Mars thing, because that's real. That's cool to me. That's like really awesome to me that we have a remote control car on fucking Mars. Excuse my French. I don't want to get bananaed. Okay. You prefer mounds, do you? Oh, I'm glad that you guys are having a nice little chat with yourselves. No, I'm not Kurt Russell. I'm aware of Goldie Hawn being Kurt Russell's wife. I'm sure they're very nice people. I'm not Kurt Russell's body double. No, I assure you I'm not. We're going to go over here. We're going to make some hot tea. But you know why? Because I don't have that radio announcer voice. I need to get that voice back. And we're going to make some hot tea today. Taking a break from some things. You know, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm used to being around, because I had an alcohol problem at one time in my life. I have 19 years of sobriety, and I went to a lot of Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and Narcotics Anonymous meetings because I had a weed problem too. And I have 19 years coming up, August the 8th of this year. And you know who I met in a lot of those meetings when I lived in Hollywood, California, which is a neighborhood in the city of Los Angeles, I met a lot of people that work in the television production business. And boy, did I find out about when you take the break or after the meeting, after the AA meeting, you talk with people about sobriety, but you get in side conversations with people. And I just ended up talking to a lot of people, and I learned a lot about what it's like for people to work behind the scenes in the television production business and also in the motion picture business. And some things that I never would have known because I don't work in that industry. I worked in retail management, direct sales. I sold aluminum siding, vinyl siding, truckloads of clothes, like wholesale, and just other things I did for a living out there. But I would mingle with these people. Some of them, occasionally, I'd run into, well, more than occasionally, I'd run into to famous musicians, people you would know, but I'm not going to name drop because it's anonymous. I'm not going to tell you what their name is. And another thing, if you live in the San Fernando Valley, which is basically the northern part of Los Angeles where they make the television shows, they manufacture them. They think them up. They're financed from somewhere. Then they think them up. They write them. They make them. There's hundreds of people, thousands of people put these things together. Most of them don't work out. They end up being pilots and stuff like that. All of this was explained to me while smoking cigarettes, hanging out on the benches on the break of the AA meeting and after the meeting, and off of Chandler Boulevard and off Hollywood Way and Burbank and some other places I was. They just talked to me about all this stuff. And some of the people that I did meet while I lived out in Los Angeles for 33 years were some of the most loving and giving people I have ever met in my life. You would be surprised that the guys that put these TV shows together, you never see their faces and stuff. They work hours on end. They're Teamsters and they're in other unions. Local 33 over there in Magnolia and stuff. Some of these guys and women, they work their butts off. They hardly get any sleep at all. But they took the time to tell me some little things about that business that I think are kind of funny and interesting. Now, what do we got here? Is this hot yet? Oh, it is. Good. We're going to make some hot tea. I met a guy that's so famous. He's one of the most famous singers in the entire world. You wouldn't know if you met him. And he doesn't wear shades. He cut his hair real short. And he is the funniest guy I've ever met in my life. He would crack you up. He could have been a stand-up comedian. I met an old man one time at one of those AA meetings, and I thought I knew him from somewhere, but I wasn't sure, and found out he did television commercials for like aspirin and Tylenol and Nuprin and all different kinds of things like that, all through the 70s and the 80s. And I had been hearing his voice and seeing his image my entire childhood and adulthood, but I didn't place, like I knew the face, but I thought it was a person that I actually knew. But it wasn't someone I knew. It was somebody I had seen doing television commercials for decades. That happens a lot if you do not work in that industry and then you go into an AA meeting anywhere near Hollywood and you meet these people and you don't know who they are. You think they're like, is that a guy I used to work with or blah, 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 blah. No, it's not. It's a guy you were watching on television when you were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. Some of these people are not with us anymore. It's a really kind of a surreal experience. It's fun. It's fun. I'll tell you what, a long time ago, when I first went out to LA, I made some money working in the hotel industry. It was fun. I got to meet all kinds of people. I met Millie Willie Mays. He gave me a $50 tip as a room service waiter when I was a really young guy. That was cool. I was like, and I recognized him. I was like, wow, man, you're Willie Mays. Yeah, he passed away, I think. There we go. We're going to get some sugar for this too. This is not a, being that I never worked in that industry before, this is not a very professional production here. I do not have special cameras. I'm just using my telephone. At one point, I'm going to get myself I don't know what those cameras are called. They're not GoPros. What are they? There's some kind of camera I can use. And this is my lighting, this lamp right here. I'm going to purchase a tripod. I've just been procrastinating about getting that. I need a. Yes, I like hot tea. I just got a rare chance to meet a lot of people that I did not know, that I met for the first time as a alcoholic trying to stay sober. And they were too. We were all just a bunch of alcoholics trying to stay sober. And we had everything from, well, actually, there was a lot of people that worked in that business. This one particular AA hall I went to. I'm not even going to tell you the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting hall that I went to. There's two main ones. If you're from the San Fernando Valley, you know where they are and what they're called, but I'm not going to say it. These people want the privacy. And people, they're just regular people that, getting off alcohol. It is possible to stop drinking alcohol. You can. You don't have to. I decided I wanted to start living at, let's see, how old was I? I wanted to start living and stop drinking alcohol, and I didn't want to die at 40 years old or 39. I can't remember if I was 38, 39, or 40. Can't remember. But at late 30s or 40, I decided, hey, I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want my liver to go. Now, I did a fiber scan. If you know what a fiber scan is where they look at your liver. They got all kinds of cool imaging now. And they took a look at my liver, a liver doctor, and said, your liver grew back. I said, well, I haven't had any alcohol in 19 years, 18 years at the time. It was only 18 years then. He said, well, your liver's fine. I had a pulmonologist look at my lungs after not smoking cigarettes for just 4 years. And he said, wow, it looks like you've never smoked cigarettes in your entire life. He did what's called a CAT scan angiogram. They have really good imaging in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it's all pink inside like it's supposed to. And I was really kind of worried because I thought that maybe I might have messed something up because I was vaping for a little while, which is very dangerous. I found out extremely dangerous, worse than smoking cigarettes. But that's cool. I'm all about health, if you haven't figured it out yet. You see, I don't know about you, but I want to live to be 103 like Jiminy Cricket. Remember Jiminy Cricket? Where do you remember Jiminy Cricket saying you wanted to live to be 103? Lisa Dasa, yes, I remember you, Homelander. He doesn't want a wife. He has a husband. He doesn't want a wife. He has a husband. I don't have a husband. Did you just call me gay? Did you just slander me? Are you talking to me? You're talking to me. Did you just say that I have a husband? Guess what? You're gone for slandering me. Goodbye. Anyway, let's see who's in here. I know that there are people in here that watch me all the time that do not, probably upset with me because I didn't say anything to him. Sorry. Dr. Oz's brother is back. Yeah, Dr. Oz's little brother, right? Yeah, that and William Dafoe and Pierce Brosnan and who else have I been called? Robert Redford when he's younger, Kurt Russell. Thank you very much for being my moderator. Whoever's moderating for me, somebody's moderating for me. Let's see who it is. Oh, it's me. Okay, cool. 87 people in here. Wow, that's a lot of people. You can call me Randy. My name is Randall. I'm based. The younger people call me. What do they call me? They said something about I'm based. You know what that means. I'm based. I'm a real one. In real life, I'm a real one. Yeah. Yeah. I say that to the trolls only the male trolls that talk garbage. If they come in, I'm a real one. I'm the guy. Any male trolls, I embrace all my haters. Yes, I do, because Miss Fucking Wonderful, who used to be big on YouTube, who's now on TikTok, who is a live streamer, who is now called Miss Unfucking Believable, AKA Katie Roby, told me to embrace my haters. I used to check her channel out too, Miss Unfucking Believable. She's funny as fuck, man. She can cook too. This hair is just, I gotta do something with this hair. Look at me. I'm like a 19-year-old guy primping his hair. Look at that. I haven't changed that much. I haven't changed. I'm the same guy. If you're in here watching me and you're from Philadelphia, if you're from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, yeah, I lived in Cherry Hill, New Jersey for the last 2 years of high school. If you recognize me from there too, I'm the same guy. I haven't changed since the 80s. I'm the same dude. I just don't say "use guys" anymore because I went out to California and they don't even say y'all. In fact, to be honest with you, some Southern Californians say y'all because they're from the Midwest, like they're Irish people whose grandparents fled the Dust Bowl and they ended up in like Central California, which kind of looks like Oklahoma anyway. And they say y'all. So there are people in California that say y'all. Look, if you go to Bakersfield, it looks like friggin' Amarillo. Dude, you should see the place. It's all dusty and everything. Doesn't look like it doesn't look like your Hollywood movies of Southern California. I was just watching this chick. What's her name? Human Scab 2. Human Scab is funny. I dig her channel. I could listen to her all day long. All fucking day long, man. All day long. I learn about things. I learn about women. I learn about women and their relationship with men. I learn about swingers. I learn about makeup application and other things from Human Scab. And I learned how to laugh too because she's funny. Who else do you guys watch that I watch? I'm not unemployed. I'm not batshit crazy. Oh, what do you mean unemployed? How do you know if I'm employed or not? What are you talking about? Get the fuck off my page, boy. Little bitch boy. You're a hater I'm not going to embrace. You won. My buddy smoked Parliament and used to recess filter and a scoop to bump and snort. I know about Parliament cigarettes. Yeah. Yeah, you can too blow with that. Yeah. I had a little blow issue at one time. Generation Z? No, I'm not Generation Z. Do I look young enough to be Generation Z? Millennials are the same thing as Generation Y. What generation do you think I am? Does it matter? Does it matter to you? I don't know. Does it? Let's talk about it. This fucking hair is too long. It's getting bushy. Generation X. Marshall Goodson. Yes, I am a part of Generation X. You know, some of the older millennials that were born after 1980, I'd say 1981, 82, 83, 84, and even 85. Millennials that were born, because millennials are all the way born up until 1990s. Is it 7, I believe, or is it 6? Maybe it's 96, from 1981 to 1986. What is it? You were that dude wearing stonewashed jeans in the 80s. No, I never really did like stonewashed jeans. They were like when I was in junior high school. I wasn't into them. I just like regular jeans. I grew up in the Northeast, so we used to wear like khakis and slacks, and we used to dress differently than the people out west. We used to dress more upscale. Okay, so 85 to 95. I always thought, well, they said Generation X is born 1965 to 1980. I don't really think so. I think it's to 1977, but okay, I'll give it till 80. 1965 to 1980 is Generation X. That's pretty much standard across the internet. Okay, another 15 years, 1981 to 1996. Yes, my son was born in 1997. He is not a millennial. He is a Generation Z. So a lot of the older millennials born 1981, 82, 83, 84, 85 have a lot of Generation X characteristics. You see, you guys remember the ancient times. You still remember when the older guys were running around carrying Motorola pagers and a roll of quarters and used to use the payphones and stuff like that to make phone calls that they didn't want their parents to hear, stuff like that. And you remember Rolodexes, and you remember AOL dial-up. You remember before the smartphone, we just had these stupid little flip phones. And older millennials remember, and I do, when you had to have a lot of money to have a smartphone. What they call a smart. At the time, they called them smartphones. There was just the flat phones, HTCs, and iPhones. And the people that had them were in the San Francisco, San Jose metropolitan area only, and Seattle, and maybe some down in LA. They were hip to that stuff in the Pacific Northwest and San Francisco. But the rest of the country didn't really get a hold of them until later. By 2013, I read about this. 2013 was the year when at least 50% of all people that lived in the United States that were adults owned a smartphone. That's about the time you started noticing that the culture was starting to change. It didn't really start. It really started changing around 2015 when somebody made a comment on national television about a certain group of people from south of the border. And then everybody flipped out and everything. Remember that? You know who made that comment, what he said. But the culture did change a little bit, you know, like after, 2013. Did you notice that if you were an older person, if you were middle age, even if you were like around 30 years old, if you were around 30 years old, around 2013, did you notice a change in the culture? I did. People staring in their phones, not paying attention, forgetting how to speak, texting all the time, especially the younger people, like in their 20s that were like, or the teenagers that were like, you're at a bus stop or a train station and you're like, hey, do you know when the next train's coming? Yo, man. Yo, what's up, man? You know when the next train's coming, like that? And they go like this. They're like, as if they're saying, oh my God, that's a person. And they're talking to me in English. And I have to remember how to process that and give him or her an answer. They like look at you like a deer, like their eyes like a deer in the headlights before it's about to get hit by a car accidentally. They forgot just regular human speech. They forgot that people have brains and talk because they've been texting since they got their first little phone in 2009, and by 2013 they forgot how to answer some old baby boomer like rolling up into them, and they work at a grocery store and they're like, hey, do you know where the fat-free mayonnaise is? And they're like, it's the fat-free mayonnaise. Do you know what it is, sir? Yeah, it's, let me ask the other dude where it is. Or they look on their phone and go, I wonder where the fat. It says just take me to it. Have you had that happen to you? Let me ask you something. Are you over the age of 40 right now and you've had this shit happen to you at any time in your life? Have you ever gone to an Olive Garden and you get your meal and you're like, what the fuck is this? They can't even make spaghetti right. Have you ever gone to a doctor's office and the receptionist is completely screwing up your paperwork? The doctor's great. The nurse is great, but the receptionist is attempting to speak too fast in an attempt to, she's slurring her words and trying to talk too fast and using words incorrectly and also using big words that are not necessary in an attempt to sound smarter than she is. Like, blah, 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 when they talk. Have you ever heard how people that are like under 40, a lot of them talk like that? Not all of them, but a lot of them. Just think about that for a second. Just in case you were wondering, guess what? Guess what, homie? Guess what? Guess what? I'm manic today. Duh, big red truck coming down the road. If you don't want to watch me, I know someone that has a much better channel than mine. A gardening channel. An artist. Just watch some other kind of channel. You don't have to sit around here and watch me all day. You know, I was just thinking. Let me come up real close so that you can hear me, because this is really important. to tell you this. I want you to be listening to everything I tell you. Did you ever get the feeling that you were being watched? I do quite often. I'm not a magician. I have absolutely no idea who's watching me. Neither did Rockwell. He did not know who was watching him. He thought maybe the IRS was watching him, or the mailman. When he came home real late at night, he shut his doors real tight. Remember? Did you know that his relative, Barry Gordy of Motown Records, told him to not quit his day job when he wanted to, after writing that song, Somebody's Watching Me, or whatever it was called? Yeah, that was a great song. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Remember that song? And I have no privacy. Remember that song? That was Rockwell, 1982. And he had Michael Jackson do like the chorus. I mean, no, like the part of the song. I don't know what's called. I'm not a musician. It means it's Mental Health Awareness Month. Please remember to be kind to your minds. Okay, that's right. My bipolar 1 disorder, it comes out every once in a while. I get a little bit manic. I'm kind of an empath. I have to be very careful not to be codependent. I had somebody in their own kind way explain that to me the other day. I'm still tall, 6'1". I think I'm going to leave for about 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Don't touch that dial. I mean it. I've had enough out of those two, and I'm not going to put up with it anymore. Wow, that feels so much better. Look at that. It's amazing what a little bit of water will do. It'll get all that whatever that is out of my hair, and I have the appearance of having short hair. You see that? Should I get it cut about this short? I can wet it more, and we can go a little bit shorter, and you can tell me if you think it needs to go a little shorter. I need some water. I'm gonna get dehydrated. Mental health challenges. Let me explain something to you. Most of the people who run multi-billion-dollar companies are sociopaths. Did you know that? They are. It's a lot worse than having manic depressive illness like I do. I would not wish manic depressive illness on my worst enemy. Have you visited Ireland yet since we last commented? No, I have not, but I will be. It looks great and suits you. Keep it. Thank you. Looks good. Yeah, I just put a little bit of water on it. That's all. It's turning red now. It was really dark just a couple weeks ago. Let's see if anybody's been naughty. Rose Wilkes, I'm a woman. We can see. Kelly Nunez, hi, how are you doing? Decula1, thank you. Decula1 helps me out quite a bit. Yes. I'm very, very happy that I ran into Decula1, my moderator, and Jerry also. Jerry's an excellent moderator too. He keeps the chat flowing. He keeps the experience of watching Hollywood22 beautiful for everyone. You're so confused about what this is. This is Randy, aka Hollywoodland22. Randy, my channel name is Hollywoodland22. I grew up in Philadelphia and across the river in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And also, part of my childhood was spent in Lubbock, Texas, next to Texas Tech University for 4 years. Yes. But I live in North Carolina now for about 2 years and 10 months. I lived in Los Angeles for about 3 decades. Yes, I did. Thank you, Rose Wilkes. Thank you very much. Allergies. Yeah, I always feel like somebody's watching me. I just don't know who it is. I wish I did. Maybe one of these days we'll find out. If somebody wants to watch me anonymously, that's okay. Hello, Michael says, hello from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. I'm Michael the Marine. How are you doing, brother? I'm doing fine. Yes, I have a lady friend who is from Habersham County, Georgia, which is near the Blue Ridge Mountains. Yeah, which extend into Northeast Georgia. Yeah. Do you know where that is? What time is it in Los Angeles? Well, I'm in North Carolina. I'm Eastern Standard Time, and it is 7:19 here, so it would be 6:54. It's 4:19 or it's about 4:19 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in Los Angeles. Where I am, it's now 7:20. We're gonna get some more light in here. Watch this. Don't touch that dial. Thank you, everybody, thank you very much for telling all your friends about. Thank you very much for telling all your friends about Hollywoodland22 on YouTube. I'm here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. until whenever. I don't know. Sometimes if I have a little bit of a break later on tonight, sometimes I might come on for about 30 minutes later. It depends. I do watch other channels that I really enjoy quite a bit. What's crazy? What did you think is crazy? Friends. Yes. Kelly Nunez. I have friends. I have some friends, actually, that in a small circle of friends who are live streamer, very small circle of friends that I watch that are live streamers on TikTok and also YouTube longer, because I started watching YouTube live streamers. I discovered that there was something called live streaming in 2019. I did late 2019. That's when the coronavirus debacle started in Los Angeles. I was living in Los Angeles, California in 2019. I moved to just north of Charlotte, North Carolina in August the 17th of 2023. I've been here for about 2 years and 10 months. And it's time for me to ramble on. I have to make a decision. I'm either going to move to the Orlando, Florida metropolitan area, or I'm going to move to Missouri. I have not decided where I want to relocate to. Either place has many aspects of it that suit my lifestyle. Depends on a lot of things. There's a lot of factors involved about where I go to. I don't know if purple looks good on me. What do you think? Is purple my color? I have blue eyes, but I have like a purple ring around it or something. Not like Elizabeth Taylor. I mean, I think she might have had there's some kind of a disorder or something, that it's a condition where the eyes are actually purple, and I have blue eyes that have like a purple ring around it and stuff like that. I don't know if you can see that. And I don't really have good lighting in here. It comes out more when I wear purple. You can see the purple in my eyes. I do know a live streamer that has eyes that are similar to mine. They have they have something else in it. They're blue, but they're kind of blue that has something else in it. I'm not sure. It could be brown. It could be purple. I'm not sure. They have violet in their eyes, but my eyes are blue with a violet ring around it. Elizabeth Taylor had like purple eyes. Remember her? I was in direct sales. I sold aluminum siding and tools and vinyl siding for homes. I also was a store manager. I worked in the nightclub business. I sold men's and women's clothes and shoes. And I did do some construction work right after the Northridge earthquake in 1994 for about 8 months. We had a big earthquake out there. I had never been in an earthquake before in my life, not a real one. And we worked 12 and 14-hour days. I know how to use a jackhammer. We helped put the I-10s, the Santa Monica Freeway, came down diagonally. Remember, it came down diagonally? It was on the news. If you're old enough to remember that, it was really scary. I was actually living in Hollywood at the time. That's the last time I lived in Hollywood. After that, I moved down to San Pedro, where the Port of Los Angeles is, and I lived down there for 8 months, and then I moved, and then I went back up to. I ended up in the San Fernando Valley. I lived in North Hollywood section of LA. I lived in West Van Nuys. I've lived in Chatsworth. Lived in a few places in the San Fernando Valley, if you know where that is. That's the northern part of the city of Los Angeles. Pro Arc robotic welder, that's a specialty. Really? You know how to use that? I've seen those. We need welders here. We need welders and people that drive 18-wheelers and people that know how to fix engines and rebuild engines. And we need people to go into technical schools and teach people how to maintain their own motor vehicles. The motor vehicles are different. They're just, how you maintain a modern vehicle is different from how you maintain a modern vehicle in the 70s or 80s or 90s. It's different now. That should be taught in high school to men and women, how to change a tire on a car, things like that. I don't know why they don't teach that in high school. I don't know how to fix cars. I know how to change spark plugs. I know how to, change a tire. I know how to have water in my trunk if I'm driving across the desert. I know how to, excuse me. I know how to, hello, Miss Newman, how are you doing? I know how to detail a vehicle. I know how to wash my vehicle. I know how to change my oil. I know how to, change spark plugs. And I fix a light, and I fix lights on a car. Other than that, I know how to put gasoline, and I know basic maintenance, like every certain 1,000 miles. I do it every 7,000 miles. I put fresh oil in there and everything like that. I know how to, in the wintertime, I know how to put a car in, put the emergency brake on and let it run and warm up for about maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Do that. I grew up in Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey, so it does snow there. We get about three. We're close to the Atlantic Ocean there, so we get Philadelphia and the eastern seaboard up to Boston gets about 3. Maybe Boston might get 3.5 months of winter, but from New York City, Connecticut, all the way down to Northern Virginia and Richmond, Virginia gets about 3 months of an actual winter. We got 3 months of every season. And the snow's wet there, so we can make snowballs there. Well, I didn't have any snow in Los Angeles. You have to go up in the mountains to get that stuff. There's mountains that run through the city, and sometimes it flurries up there, but most people don't even know what snow is there. A lot of people speak Spanish as a first language out there, so you hear a lot of Spanish. I'd say that 50% of the city of Los Angeles, probably more than that, 55 to 60% of the city of Los Angeles is Latino, and probably about 50%, maybe 45%, somewhere about 45% of the county of Los Angeles is Latino. And many of them, Spanish is their first language. Not all, but many of them. It's not like when you go to Miami, and you go to Miami and that's all you hear is Spanish everywhere. They know how to speak English, but they speak Spanish out in public there. It's different in Miami. In public, you hear Latinos generally speak English in public and then Spanish in the home a lot out there. But being bilingual is definitely a plus if you live in Los Angeles, or I'd say Los Angeles, maybe Riverside, Bakersfield, Fresno, Modesto, anywhere through the Central Valley. It helps. I didn't work in construction really, but even in different industries, it helps out a lot. 76 people in here. Wow, that's a lot of people. I remember I used to, Michael, I used to mess around with blow, but I don't anymore. And I no longer drink. I stopped that on August the 8th of 2007 was my first day of sobriety. Well, of clean time. Sober. Soundness of mind. Do I have a sound mind? Well, I'm a little bit manic today. I'll let you decide. Yeah, it is. Anywhere it is. I would have to say that if you can speak English and you can speak at least like a third grade level of Spanish, it could really help you, especially if you work in certain fields like in construction or in the restaurant business. If you live in some place like Los Angeles, California, or the Central Valley, which is called the San Joaquin Valley in California, or if you live in the New York or what we call the tri-state area in New York, or in South Florida, and it can help you to a certain degree in Cook County, Illinois, around there. I heard there's a lot more Spanish spoken in Indianapolis, Columbus, Ohio, Kansas City, Kansas, and down in Texas too. But the thing with Texas is a lot of people that are Latino speak English almost always in public and everything like that. You'll run into Latino people that do not know how to speak Spanish in Texas. It's really odd. Not in San Antonio. In San Antonio, there's a lot of Spanish being spoken there. San Antonio and El Paso, down in South Texas, and San Antonio. I lived in Texas. I kind of know the area. Jamie Lee Curtis from A Fish Called Wanda. She starts hearing other languages. What? Springdale, Arkansas, in that area. Me llama es Curtis. Carlos. Y Randall. Me llama es Randall. Tú eres alta. No, tú. Yo soy alto. 6'1". El autobus. That's a bus. See, you can do the translation on them. If your Uber driver does not speak English, and if he does speak Spanish frequently, you can translate with your little smartphone. I did that for the first time coming back from Charlotte. From what was I there for? Shopping or something. English as a second language class. You must be talking about Los Angeles. They do all that stuff. They do some strange things out there. A Uber driver. Yeah, there are goober drivers. I Oh, you have translating earbuds? Oh, you have those? I want those. Those would be cool. You could like walk into you could put translating earbuds in. Say you're going out to like a nightclub, like in Miami somewhere, and you don't speak any Spanish, and there's all these totally hot Cuban chicks in there, and you're like a dude and you want to hook up with them. You can put the earbuds in and you can understand everything they're saying. They'll just roll up on you. Because I went to Miami once when I was a young guy, and I went to this nightclub, and all these Cuban girls were like, wanting to take me out to dance. They're talking to me in Spanish real fast because they speak Spanish like a machine gun down there, like really fast. They're not like "si, si, senor," like like Mexican Spanish. It's like more cowboy Spanish, slower. And the Cubans speak really fast Spanish, and all these totally hot chicks came up to me, and they always wanted to dance with me. I was like, I wish I had those. They had invented those earbuds. I was like, yeah, see, senorita. I was like, I just took off, man. Thank God for Motel 6. They always leave the light on for me. Did I actually say that? You want to know what the ladies do in the nails in the nail salon? Like, can you translate a lot of the ladies that work in the nail salons? Well, in LA, they're Filipino. There's a lot of Filipinos there. And that's kind of like Spanish. It's sort of like Spanish. I guess you could translate it from, what's Filipino? Is that Tagalog? What is that? Oh, I'll fit in. I speak fast English. I speak English quicker when I'm on the eastern seaboard. When I'm out in California, I kind of slow down the way I speak. What's up, dude? People don't know this, but in Los Angeles, well, amongst us Irishmen, or whatever you call us, Caucasians, well, Latinos speak slow there too. Latinos and us Caucasians, they speak slower in Southern California than they do in Northern California. And they speak, yeah, they do. You can tell the difference. And they speak, there's a little bit of Midwestern sound in Los Angeles. The speed of the English being spoken and how they talk. Like the Caucasians, they speak like they're from Missouri or Kansas or Nebraska or Oklahoma. Not really with an accent, but like from the upper Midwest. They sound like that when they speak. They sound kind of like Dan Rather or Tom Brokaw or Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson where's he from? He's from Nebraska or Kansas or something like that. They sound like that. They do too. I was shocked when I went out to California. I'm in Ohio, and I've been told my whole life I speak way too fast. Where do you live now? You speak too fast? Maybe you do speak too fast. It's possible. No, I don't think about dying. I think about life. I don't think about dying. I don't like to think about dying. That's kind of a negative thing. People will die, but I don't like to talk about it on my stream. There probably aren't Native Californians. No, they're from California. A lot of people from the Midwest during the Dust Bowl and when they had poor farming techniques in the 1930s, packed up all their stuff and drove all the way out to California, to northern Los Angeles, Bakersfield, Fresno, Modesto, and all those farm towns out there. And there are a bunch of Irish people, a bunch of white people from the Midwest, and they just gave up their farm and they just said, forget it. We're just going to go to California and try to do something. Some of them became farmers and some of them just got into other lines of work. It was kind of like during the Great Depression, and they brought their customs and their ways with them. Most of them were Protestant Christians, and they spoke a certain way, and they ate a certain kind of food, and a lot of them sound like they're from Springfield, Missouri, or Oklahoma, or Kansas, or Iowa, or places like that. It's remarkable how much they sound like people from Kansas, people from the San Joaquin Valley and the San Fernando Valley, which is actually part of the city of Los Angeles. You'd be surprised how they speak like. Even out in Riverside, people talk like that. They sound like they're Midwestern, for real. They're people from California. They're younger than me, but they sound like they're from Kansas. It's a fact. Well, it's overpopulated. What's going on is in Stockton, and Stockton's really got some problems. I know that's because there's just a bunch of gangs there and stuff. Fresno and Bakersfield and Stockton are places that can be cleaned up. They don't have to have that level of crime, and there's too many people living in California. California's population is about 39 million. It used to be 41 million. We've lost a couple million people in the last 30 years. Well, the last 25 years. And that's the real truth about the population. You're being lied to in the newspapers. I know people in the inside loop that know exactly what the true story is. There's about 39.5 million people left in California, and it's losing population every quarter. Every 3 months, it's losing people. Some people are going to other states. Some people are going back to Mexico. Some people are being deported to countries far away. They're not supposed to be here. A lot of retired people a lot of people that are retiring that are Mexican Americans that are Americans are actually retiring in Mexico. And a lot of undocumented people that are not legally in the country are just leaving the country. If you ever look at Google Maps, you will not see this, but in real life, you will see a line of cars going back to Tijuana that is about 2 miles long, with all kinds of trailers pulling property and everything. There's people leaving that are illegally in the country, but they're leaving. Or they're taking the $1,000 and getting on an airplane and getting the ticket back to wherever they want to go. And then they can come back illegally, and they're given that option. The federal government is given that option underneath the Trump administration. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of incorrect information on your television news, whether it's local, definitely the local news, your major networks, and then on cable television, there's additional incorrect information about what's going on in the country. It's hard to sift through. I sift through it. Sometimes I talk to people. I don't want to talk about it too much further, but I talk to people that know what's going on out in California. They're stealing elections out there. It's a mess. I left California after 30 years for a reason. It wasn't just because of the crime. The crime wasn't the big problem. The unhoused people out there isn't the big problem either. The big problem is that there is an unbelievably corrupt local government in the city of Los Angeles County, which includes LA and about 86 other unincorporated areas and municipalities. And also the state of California at the state level has an enormous amount of corruption in it. It's really bad. You have card-carrying communists that are state legislators. You have weirdos that are like just I don't want to even get into it. It's so sickening. But California, but particularly Los Angeles and San Francisco, those two towns, and I would add in Stockton, need federal intervention. They need federal intervention to correct some things that are very, very bad there. There's human trafficking going on there. There's women and children getting hurt out there. There are disabled, handicapped people being not attended to out there. They're just the people that are supposed to be managing, the government that's supposed to be managing the state of California and certain municipalities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oakland, Sacramento itself, and Stockton are just what's called dropping the ball. They're just dropping the ball and they're not doing their job. And people are getting injured, hurt, and many people are losing their lives because of this, people not doing their jobs. And these are people that are elected government workers in the state of California and non-elected workers. You got people in LA that are punching in the morning at 8 o'clock, going home and then not working, and then coming back at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, hanging out for a couple hours and punching out, and they're not really doing their jobs. You can see that you go to the public parks. The public parks have weeds growing all over the place. You got graffiti all over the place that never used to be there. It's been horrible for ever since about 2016. It's been a mess out there. I know. I was out there. I lived out there from late in 1980s until just 2023. And I can see in real time, the live streamers I watch, they're showing me what's going on out there. Karen Bass, let me explain something. Spencer Pratt probably did not have votes counted properly for him. That's why he didn't get through the preliminary voting for mayor that they're going to have later on. It's not going to happen. The Democratic machine is going to make sure, and I voted Democrat before, but what's going on out there in California is those aren't real Democrats out there. I mean, you're going to find a real Democrat in Ohio somewhere. Those Democrats out there, they're just a bunch of card-carrying communists out there, and they're going to cause as much chaos as possible until everybody leaves, except for people that clean their houses, live out there, and they can live very rich a life beyond their wildest dreams. And you're going to have government workers at the state level, at the county level, at the city level. They're going to give themselves exorbitant salaries and stuff and live with all kinds of police protection and all kinds of stuff. And everybody else is going to live crappy like it's Tijuana. And I've been to Tijuana. It's a crappy place. You don't want to go there. That's what they're trying to change there. They don't care about their constituents out there. It's getting bad here too. They're pulling that stunt there. The reason I'm thinking about, like, one of the states I'm thinking about moving to, because North Carolina is just not for me. I'm thinking about moving to Missouri. But when I look at Missouri, I'm looking at Kansas City versus St. Louis, because I need to live in a larger metropolitan area for employment purposes. When I look at St. Louis does have a very good medical infrastructure. I think that Kansas City's medical infrastructure is sufficient. And it might be that I can go see doctors on either side of the state line there, right? The thing with St. Louis is that their core city, St. Louis, I've been through there. It's rough. It's really rough. And basically, I don't think I would be able to really utilize the city the way I would like to. Kansas City is a different story. Kansas City, Kansas, I'm looking at on the Missouri side. Kansas City, Kansas, or Independence, Missouri, or one of the big suburbs around there. I could live in Kansas City, and because I'm an urban person, and I don't like to live too far out. I'm not into driving long distances. I could live in Kansas City and live in the middle of the country and just make sure I have a basement if a tornado's coming, and I could be perfectly fine because I've lived near the beach my whole life. I'm tired of the beach. I like woods, and I like being in open areas, and where there's Missouri is a wonderful place for nature. I like going out and being part of nature and being in a place where I can work, get medical care, whatever I need as I'm getting older, and then be able to go out into nature. Because I like things like that. I like animals, I like trees, I like mountains. The Ozark Mountains are not too far from there. So I'm definitely thinking about Kansas City, Missouri. And I'm also thinking about Orlando, Florida, to relocate there for other reasons. Orlando, Florida is mostly for making bread. Like I might go to Orlando, Florida for a certain amount of time, make some bread, and then end up in Kansas City, Missouri. Because I like 4 seasons too. I like it warm. I could deal with it warm and have to have to be in an air-conditioned automobile for 4 months out of the year. Because, Orlando, it's like so hot outside that their summer is 6 months out of the year, Orlando. But it's real hot out of that 6 months to the point where you don't really want to be outside too long. For about 3 months out of the year. About 3 months out of the year, it's so hot you have to be in a car with air conditioning everywhere. But for the winter and the fall, it's nice to walk around. It's kind of like California a little bit, a little more humid. But I don't mind 4 seasons either. I think 4 seasons is best. Like not too far south, not too far north. Like I say if you went north of Iowa or Nebraska, that's too far north, like in the Dakotas or Minnesota or any of those places. Freeze. I don't want to stay inside 7 months out of the year. But south of there, going like towards Kansas City, Missouri, or near Branson, Missouri, or something like that, I could live around there. Yeah. That's the perfect place for me. And I had been thinking about this for probably about where to live. I don't want to live too high of an elevation, but I looked at the elevation of Kansas City. I looked at the elevation of St. Louis. I looked at the elevation of a lot of places, and it's not as high as you think. I don't want to live in a place that's above 3,000 feet above sea level because it's harder on the pulmonary system and things like that. I think about a lot of things. I'm bipolar, excuse me. What did you think? Did you want to talk about dissociative identity disorder? That's where I a split personality. I used to have one, but I had hypnosis and regression therapy and fixed that. Just like when I asked Jesus Christ, I said, Jesus, please take these cravings to drink alcohol away from me. And Jesus took them away. I can't snap today. Just like that. Yes, he did. Wow, 1 hour and 23 minutes. I have been on a roll today. Sounds OCD, not bipolar. Oh, I'm bipolar. The University of the Hospital of Pennsylvania, which is right down from the University of Pennsylvania and the Wharton School of Business in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They did a lot of research on me, and they found out that I have bipolar 1 disorder with DID, dissociative identity disorder. You can look it up. You can Google it. You'll find out what it is. Oh, you know PA well. Yeah, I lived in Kensington. I lived in Kensington. I lived in Oxford Circle. I lived in Fishtown. And I also, later on, when I was like the last couple of years in high school, I moved over the Benjamin Franklin Bridge and moved to Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I went to Cherry Hill High School West. Does anyone know where that is? How many high schools are in Cherry Hill? There's 2. Cherry Hill High School West and Cherry Hill High School East. And I went to Cherry Hill High School West. You look stable to me, bro. Yes, I am. Well, more than I used to be, but you got to understand that I take medication. You got to take medication. I'm not going to tell you what medication I take, but I take medication in order to not have like big giant mood swings and stuff like that, and not be able to get to sleep at night and all kinds of stuff. I would not wish bipolar disorder on my worst enemy. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. So what about purple? What do you think about purple? I'm going to button it all up. What do you think? Does that look good on me? You tell me. Or do I look horrible today? Tell me. What do I look like? Let's see what people are saying. I've been to Portland. It brings out the blue in my eyes more, the purple. Oh my God, it's Dr. Oz. I'm a big fan. Nice to meet you. Darling, you look marvelous. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly Nunes. 9974 is a big supporter of my channel, and I really appreciate you coming in here. Now, who was talking about my teeth again that I have not had time to go to the dentist? Yeah, someone was talking garbage. Oh, borderline personality disorder is different than what I have. That's, people need to Google that too. Branson or Kimberling City, Missouri. I'm going to remember those. I have a very good memory like an elephant. No shade, but you look like the love child of Kurt Russell and Robert Kennedy. Well, somebody was talking garbage about my teeth in here, and I'm going to find out. What is wrong with your teeth, though? I missed that. Somebody said, here's what's wrong with my teeth. I have partial, like, bridges in here. I have real teeth, bridges, and then I have also implants, too, because I did not get good teeth genes. And I've been going through this since I was 39 years old, so constant work on my teeth. These, they were put in a long time ago. I have to use my glasses. This and this, these were like implants that just didn't work out right. They popped out, then I have to get the whole thing fixed again. Okay. So I'm getting all this is going to be fixed or replaced. Part of these are bridges and part of these are not. But it's all getting fixed. It's going to cost $3,000. Somewhere between $3,440 and $3,600, somewhere in that range. It's going to pinch, but it's not going to take me out. But I can handle it. One way or the other. I'll get around to it. I got bigger fish to fry right now. What advice would you give to every teenage guy? Do not smoke cigarettes. Do not smoke cigarettes and do not smoke marijuana. And if you drink alcohol when you can legally drink alcohol at the age of 21, do not drink all the time. Just drink on social occasions. When you go out to a bar or something like that, fine, have a few drinks, but don't make it a habit. You don't want to drink daily, and you don't want to drink on the weekends, like drink every weekend. It's not good for you. I would stay away from marijuana entirely. I would definitely stay away from cigarettes. Do not smoke cigarettes and do not smoke electronic cigarettes. Stay away. Don't get started. Find some other addiction. Get some bubble gum. I have to be responsible when I tell you these things. I'm not saying that I didn't do all these things. I did much worse than you did. I went around, I did Peruvian flake. I drank, I smoked weed. I worked my ass off and I played my ass off. Many of the times I was playing, I was in the La Quinta Inn, or I was in the Red Roof Inn, or I was in the or a cockroach motel, the La Cienega Motel, or I was in when I really wanted to party, I would always go to the Motel 6. I like the Motel 6, and you know why? Because they always left the light on for me. No, it's going to end up costing about $3,600. I'm getting a deal. I know people. I know people that know people. Alcohol's pretty bad for you. It's actually worse than drinking alcohol every weekend is worse than smoking. From what I've talked to doctors that pull me to the side and say, don't tell anybody this, but they say things like, smoking weed once a week, a little bit, is way less harmful than smoking cigarettes every day or drinking every weekend. Alcohol's really bad for you. Hey, if you want to smoke the wacky tobacco, that's on you. I'm not going to judge you. There's a lot of people that smoke wacky, that smoke weed, that are really nice people, very kind, loving people. I just don't. That's just for me. Some of the younger people in their 20s call me based. I'm a little bit more forward here sometimes on some days. Some days I'm more calmed down. Some days I'm a little bit more hyper. I've been up since 6 o'clock. I've had probably 7 cups of coffee. I've been running around taking care of things I have to take care of. I'm a highly responsible person. I have to be. I started being responsible. Really, I was responsible when I used to party. When the partying was done, it's time to be responsible. I know how to flip it off. If I start getting a little bit, a little bit too manic, and I have to pull back, get a bad thought, I pull back and say to myself, okay, time to straighten out. All the world's a stage. I don't like that stuff that brings it down. That's why alcohol didn't bring me down. Drinking like hard liquor sometimes, like I would take a shot of hard liquor and then wash it down with a Modelo beer or something like that. I would just do that, and it would take away a lot of the feelings of mania. I stopped doing that. I started taking the medications. I feel better. All the world's a stage. Rush. You want my hair? You want my hair? Do you want me to cut it and give you some of it? This is a non-monetized channel. I don't make any money doing this at all. Oh, I'm going to show you that there's not hair on all of my body. Say it's just a little bit right here. Say, look at that. You see, it's just right here. Okay. It's no hair on my, see, look at me. Medication exasperated your mental health problems. Or you lost your hair. My grandfather lost his hair when he was 25 years old. It does run in my family, but not on, I guess I got my mother's side of the family. Why are you always in pajamas? Pajamas? What do you mean pajamas? I'm not in pajamas. Why would you say that? I'm in clothes. See what these are? We're going to find out who said that. Goodbye for being an asshole. Goodbye. You'll never see, you won't watch my channel anymore. Well, one thing I was told as a bipolar disorder suffer is to never take a classification of medications called antidepressants. I do not take Zoloft or Paxil or any of those things. Lorazepam, anti-anxiety medication, yes, as needed, and other things that I'm not going to discuss what my medication is. It's nobody's business. Okay. You look like you could be related to Kurt Russell. Really? You think so? I'm not. Not to my knowledge. No, I'm not. I'm going to put this jacket back on because somebody has the air conditioning on so high in here. Can you tell I'm originally from the East Coast? Can anybody tell I'm originally from the East Coast by my mannerisms? Even though I do not have the Philadelphia or New Jersey accent anymore, I still kind of act like I'm from the Northeast. Some people have told me that. Like some dude that lived in the 80s and the 90s, 70s, 80s, and 90s in the Northeast. As a child, young guy, this child in the 70s and 80s, and then a young guy in the late 80s and 90s. A lot of people told me, they said, where are you from? Are you from like Philadelphia, New York, or something like that, New Jersey? Kind of act like that. People tell me. The reason why he never took the medication is because he never wanted to come back from the fact that he really did have bipolar disorder, but he was worse in the past than now somehow. Some people, when they get older, the symptoms of bipolar disorder go away, which used to be called manic depressive illness. The symptoms lessen as they get older, and some people, they get worse. There is currently no cure for bipolar disorder, aka manic depressive illness. There's also no cure for schizophrenia. I do not have schizophrenia at all. There's no cure for these things. The psychiatrists can manage the symptoms of schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, but they cannot cure them. They're working on it, but it's very hard to work on something. Like my bipolar disorder usually is something that has a lot to do with the bottom, the part of the brain that's underneath the brain. Schizophrenia is a thought disorder. It has to do with the cerebral cortex, the thinking part of the brain. People actually have audio or visual hallucinations. It's neither both. It's one or the other. Some people are misdiagnosed. Some people have done things like they're methed up, and they did meth for so long that they've done some damage to their cerebral cortex, and they have some characteristics of a person that has manic depressive illness or schizophrenia that they really do, and then they hear things inside of their brain. Some people are really good people, and they're so close to their creator. They're so close to God, and they tell the truth all the time, and they're such good Christian people who have so much love in their heart that they get attacked by demons. I believe that. I've seen that happen. I talked to a psychiatrist that said that psychiatry, of all the different medical degrees you can get, that you can specialize in, like psychiatry is a medical doctor. There are medical doctors. My psychiatrist specialized. She's a medical doctor who specializes in psychiatry. She said psychiatry, of all the fields of medicine, is more like learning how to diagnose someone is more like an art form than it is medicine. But it is real medicine. There are different criteria. There's things they're looking for when they're diagnosing someone. They have to fit the criteria. And then some mental illnesses are undefined. There's some people that are so incapacitated with their mental illnesses that they have to be taken care of like children for the rest of their lives in certain facilities. Most people are not that bad. Some schizophrenics, most schizophrenics, which I do not have schizophrenia. They have symptoms. They have schizophrenia, but it can be managed with medication, and they can live relatively normal lives. Most schizophrenics are like that. Most bipolar people can too, but not all. It depends. There's also anxiety disorders. There's depressive disorders. There's all kinds of phobia things going on that they really don't understand. Like people that have, is that called agoraphobia? People that have a fear of wide open spaces. Is that correct? Or is that the other one? There's a phobia where people are afraid to be in enclosed places. And there's a phobia where people are afraid to be in wide open spaces, because I do not have the one where I'm afraid to be in wide open spaces. I love wide open spaces. I like to be out in the middle of the Great Plains and the desert and other places like that, or wide open spaces where I can see exactly for miles and miles and miles and miles. I love places like that. Yeah, well, my doctor told me because I have bipolar disorder to never, ever take antidepressants. She was the head management. She was a head psychiatrist of the biggest mental health hospital in Ukraine, in Kyiv. She left before this war started, like back in the 90s or something, late 80s or 90s. And she's been practicing in Hollywood, North Hollywood, and West Hollywood, California, for many years now. Her name is Dr. Celia Bass. Dr. Bass. She's at 1111 North Fairfax Avenue or Street, one of those, in West Hollywood, California. She's a practicing doctor. I saw her for 21 years. And she will not tell you my last name because she's professional. She's one of the best psychiatrists in the entire United States. She's been taking care of me for 19 or 20 years. Bipolar 1, like Patty Duke, the actress, Cheryl Schultz. Just remember, Dr. T-S-I-L-A, Celia Bass. She's Ukrainian. And she's at 111 North Fairfax in West Hollywood, California. If you know where that is. It's in the Los Angeles basin. Yes, West Hollywood. You know where West Hollywood is. Tequila, thank you. Kiss softly. I suffer from depression and anxiety. Thank you for speaking about this. Well, you're welcome. I mean, at my age, I've learned a lot. I've been through all kinds of medications. They had me on Geodone and this and that and the other and all these different medications. And I came to the conclusion that if I stopped drinking and I stopped smoking stopped smoking weed, that things would get better for me. I went to sleep normally. Then I stopped smoking 5 years ago. Things got even better. I stayed sober for we're coming up on 19 years. And that was a big part of my problem. But I'm a little off, okay? I'm not a threat to anybody. I'm a fair guy. I'm not a nice guy anymore, but I'm a fair guy. I used to be a nice guy. I used to be a really nice guy. You know, I used to have my pick of the litter with the women, but I could never keep one for more than a couple of years because I was just too manic or I was too something. I mean, not like now. I'm talking like up and down all the time. They put up with me. They keep me around. 5 years. I think 5 years is the longest. I've had multiple relationships. Yes. And in between relationships, you know what us men do. We get to the point where we have do so much business with Motel 6, of course, because they leave the light on for me, that they start giving me discounts in the Motel 6 in Hollywood, California. They have elevators. It's an old hotel called the Howard Hotel. It was built in the 1920s. It's an Art Deco motel that they transformed into a Motel 6 somewhere about 20 years ago. They turned it to Motel 6. It used to be called the Howard Hotel. It was a drug motel, but it's not anymore. It's a motel that leaves light on for you. It's on Whitley and Yucca in Central Hollywood. And men, that's where you take the women that you meet in the bars in Hollywood and stuff. And they're usually bisexual, right? But they decide they want to be with a man that night. And you take them over there. And if you go over there long enough times, they'll give you a 10% discount. I must be Jeff Bodine. No, I'm not. I'm just fucking with you guys. I remember one time when I was 19 years old, you know what I did? I dated the apartment complex manager of the apartments I was living in. She was like 40 something. She was like 43. She was a lot of fun. Does anybody who's a man in here remember being like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, under 25 years old? What it was like to be a man between 18 and 25? Remember that? I bet you did not sell women's shoes though, like I did when I was 19. I sold women's shoes and I got a lot of phone numbers. Tons of them. All the time. I kept them in a book. My book was not a little black book. My book was a little blue book. It wasn't a little red book like a communist would have. It was a little blue book. Wow, you should not feed a goldfish dog food. That's really dumb. They did that, Jimmy. Princino, Alina, thank you for the compliment. Yo, Rian Van Wyck, 175. I need to find a new psychiatrist moving countries. I'll be in Miami in December. I like Miami. Miami's a fun town. You want me to be a nice guy? I used to, at one time when I was real young, when I was 17 years old, I was dating an 18-year-old girl. And I thought she was beautiful and everything. And she ended up dumping me for the Orkin man. And I don't know why. But he wanted to marry her and start having babies. And she was Italian. And back in those days, they kind of started just when they're 18, 19 years old, already they're moving out of the house and they're having their own family. That's the way it used to be in the Philadelphia area, in the New York area. Back in the 80s, it was just like that. It was a different time. And she dumped me for an exterminator. Oh boy, was I upset. But I didn't get upset after that. After that, she called me back. I was actually dating multiple different women at the same time. Well, it was just understood. Like I'm just dating around. I'm not getting serious with any one woman. And they knew it too. I was very honest. It was like, yeah, I date a lot of women. They didn't mind. And this chick called me back. She called me back. She's like, "Oh, well, can I come over to your apartment?" I'm like, thinking to myself, I didn't say anything, but I thought, well, I thought she was dating this other guy really seriously. She wanted a quickie from me. She came over there. And I guess I wonder if she ever told her boyfriend at the time. She ended up getting married to that guy. A lot of things I'm not going to know. So what does Jesus do for me now? Well, Jesus allowed me to wake up this morning. How about that? He allowed me to wake up. He allowed me to get through this colonoscopy and the colonoscopy I just had on Monday. I got those less than a centimeter polyps out that were unremarkable, which is good news. I prayed to Jesus in 3 weeks. He's going to tell me what his findings are. And I'm glad, because you have to do that. When you're 45 years old, they want you to have a colonoscopy. It's to prevent colon cancer for everyone in this country. When you're 45, do it at 45. Have a CAT scan angiogram of your heart and your aorta when you're 45. Please do it to make sure that you don't have an aortic aneurysm or anything, or abdominal aneurysm from all that junk food that we've been eating as Americans, our whole lives, and especially if you smoke cigarettes. That's a couple of things the doctor told me you should do. You should also ask and see if you have they won't tell you, but when you go to a doctor when you're like 40 or something, you say, could you give me a hepatitis C test? Because there's a lot of people women in particular, they got maybe had to get blood and stuff in the hospital when they're having children, and they could, there was there's tainted blood supply at a certain point in the 90s and early 2000s. And a lot of people that never did any rugs in their whole life got hepatitis C. And I was unaware of that. So you might want to check your doctor about that stuff too. I mean, I don't have any of that stuff. Yeah, you want to get a colonoscopy. If you're past 40, if you're 45, you want to get it. Go ahead, get it. Have them do it. They'll do it. No, I've never been married. I'm a man that's never been married. Dated a lot of women, but never been married. I'm a Cancer with a Sagittarius rising. What is a Cancer? I was born I'm a late June Cancer, right? With a Sagittarius rising. What is that supposed to mean? Does anyone know more than I do? Somebody did my chart by my longitude and latitude of where I was born, and and the time I was born and the year I was born. They told me exactly what my astrological sign was, exactly. And they told me I had a moon sign, a rising sign, and all this stuff. The only thing I can remember is that I'm a Cancer with a Sagittarius rising, and that I'm a little bit adventurous, and I like to be the center of attention, and I got to be out there like a rock star, and all this business that she told me. Guard and treat your heart like no other. Yes. The charts are bullshit. They probably are. No, I have one son. And he has grown, and he is paying taxes, finally. When he hit 18 years old, he was working and paying taxes. What are you doing now? I'm talking to you. What are you doing? You're watching me. And I'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't touch that dial. What are you doing? Blocky. Don't eat that. Play on the ground. With a blocker. Yeah, I'll do this for a little bit while longer. I got to come back. I found a dish. It goes in here. Time for me to take you guys over here. We're going to make something more to drink. Well, I'll use my old Powerade Zero bottle. Powerade Zero by the Coca-Cola Company. Have you ever had it? What do you like better, Gatorade Zero or do you like Powerade Zero? What's your favorite? Do you have one? Do you enjoy neither? Do you like to drink just plain tap water? Do you drink out of a garden hose? What do you do for liquid? Do you use a jug to drink your water out of? I know someone that does. They're pretty cool. They're very cool, actually. Where was I? Oh, that's right. Walmart individual. What flavor is this? Strawberry mango. Just 5 calories of flavor. Pour it in here. This is a water spigot. I walked 3 miles today after taking care of all my bread making, just for exercise. I like to walk. I like to walk and walk and walk and see all kinds of things. You see all kinds of things as a pedestrian when you're walking that you do not see when you're driving. I do not like to walk too long because then it gets boring. About 3 miles is much. I can jog. I probably run a mile. I could jog, if I had to, about 3 miles. I could walk probably 10 miles if I needed to. I wouldn't want to walk 10 miles. That would be boring. Unless I had some really good tunes to listen to and some real good earbuds. That's the thing I need to do. I need to get some earbuds. I have earphones, but I need to get some earbuds, and I need to purchase a what's that called? A tripod with those ring lights from Amazon Prime. Do they still have Amazon Prime, or is it just called Amazon? Or maybe if they still have TikTok Shop, I'll get one. Someone's selling them, and I'll get some of those and throw it up here in the living room. We can have a lot of fun. This show is about everything and nothing. Who's watching? 51 people. Okay. This is the YouTube channel. Okay, I'm using I'm using my YouTube channel now. I need subscribers. I have over 1,000 subscribers. My next goal is 10,000 subscribers. I need you to hit the subscribe button. You beautiful people. Hit the subscribe button to Hollywoodland22, or I guess you can find me on my channel name is Hollywoodland22, or you can find me at Hollywoodland21. Either one, you can find the subscribe button and press the subscribe button. It's free, it's fun, it's easy, and it's of no cost to you. And if you could tell all your friends on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, X, TikTok, all of the different platforms, and all your Facebook friends and all your family and everything, tell them about Hollywoodland22 and ask them to hit the subscribe button. We're going to have a lot of fun around here. Jesus willing to keep me alive. You see, I had my life saved at the age of, how old was I? 44 or 45. I had my life saved. And I have a second chance of life. So every day I wake up in the morning is a good day. Might not be a great day. You know, joy is something that's a gift from God. Sometimes I have moments of joy. Sometimes it's by something happening in my life, something that's just witnessing something that's happening in somebody else's life. I can have moments of joy just watching it. It can bring tears to my eyes. Like whenever I watch a parent that's being good to their child, it brings tears to my eyes, and they're tears of joy, because I did not always get that growing up as a child. I was left to my own devices. I had to grow up very fast. And that's all I'm going to say about that here. I was told, I was given some directives by another live streamer that I trust and I respect. This live streamer that I trust and respect told me that everything I say on this stream to remind myself that I am being watched. I'm being watched by people I don't even know. And she is 100% correct. And she said that to me to protect me. Thank you very much for letting me know that. And I'm not going to tell you what her name is, because it's nobody's business. And she's a really good person that cares about other people. And that's all I'm going to say about that. You never know who you're going to meet on these social media platforms. The hosts of some of these channels, whether it be on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook Friends, or whatever it is called, X. I don't even know if Instagram does this, Rumble, any of these places, Twitch. You never know who you're going to meet. I've met some of the most horrible people, the biggest monsters in the world on social media. I met them before we just had Yahoo Messenger. And I've met some of the most beautiful people on social media I've ever met in my life. I love social media. I think it's great. Some people you can say I have parasocial relationships with, just texting and stuff like that. Some people I've developed friendships with. I consider being friends with a small handful, and I mean a very small handful. We're talking, I'm going to count them right now. One I know, absolutely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and possibly a 6th one in the works. That I think that if we met each other in real life, we would be friends. It's somebody in Florida. I'm not going to tell you who these people are. And all of the people that I consider friends that I met via social media are real ones. They're very real. They are not fake at all. And they are who you see. They're not putting on an act for anyone. Those are the people there's other people that are not putting on an act for anyone, but all of the people that I've developed friendships with on social media they are what you see. I've seen the same pattern in them. Their pattern doesn't change. They're the same person. And a couple of them have gone out of their way to say things to protect me and to help my channel because they care about me. They have the ability to love inside their heart, and I can see it too. I never expected that for somebody to care enough about me on social media. It really touched my heart that somebody would say something to help me protect myself on social media. It was really beautiful. I said, wow, that really just solidified it. That's a friend. That's somebody that cares about me and my well-being and my safety. I really appreciate that. Much more than they might realize. Some people do wear their heart on their sleeve. My dad did. Thank you. It's hard to break alcohol. It's even harder to stop smoking cigarettes. Sometimes people that I care about a whole lot, they smoke cigarettes and they know they want to stop. And I pray that they stop. So I don't want to lose them. Friends, real friends. From Glasgow, Maria Loudon. Hi, thank you for the compliment. I wish I could give you a hug through the phone, Kelly Nunez. I'd give you a hug. Oh, nothing to feel sorry about. Walmart, about $40 for a tripod, $40 US for a tripod. Hey, that's cool. I'll go down to Walmart and check it out. What I need a tripod with the ring lights. See, I need the light. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Wow, it's been a while. You know it's almost that time. This is usually a show that lasts between 35 minutes and just over 2 hours. Every Thursday, Hollywoodland22, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night from 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so whenever, it could be 35 minutes. It could be 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's going to be about 2 hours and 12 minutes here. I'm about to go off right now. I have other interests. Amazon Prime is going strong. Good. My best time running in a mile, I can't remember. That's so long time ago. I ran the 220 in track in high school. Oh, I already ate dinner. We had saved some cheeseburgers, so from the other day we bought ground beef and cheese and toasted Kaiser rolls, and we had a really good dinner, and we just had leftovers. We had some more cheeseburgers that were put away. I really like cheeseburgers for some reason. I don't know. Sitting in your backyard right now in Indiana, you all have a good evening. You too. I do. I have a side of me that's very sensitive. Only a handful of people know it. There's another side of me that's very, very. I'm dealing with this earth we live on. I'm very direct. I have family members, brothers and sisters, siblings. I have one parent left, and a couple aunts. And then I have a small handful of people that are on social media that are live streamers that know me. Deep in here, they know me at a deeper level. They already figured me out. Yeah. You have a great night. There are a lot of good people out there. There still are. There really are a lot of very caring and loving people in the United States of America, probably in the whole world. I got to go now. I want everybody to press the subscribe button to Hollywoodland22. Tell everybody out on the street, at your job, everywhere. We need to get to 10,000. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers in the next 2 months. Just hit the subscribe button, Hollywoodland22 or at Hollywoodland21. Just look for the black subscribe button and hit subscribe. It's free. And this is not a monetized channel. When I get to 10,000 subscribers, I will monetize the channel. Unless I tell you different, I might decide to do it at 5,000. But I don't want anyone to, I really do not believe the right thing to do is to have anyone pay for a subscription. No, I don't think that's the right thing to do. I just want people to subscribe. This is just for fun right now. It won't be for a profit until we get to 10,000 subscribers, and then things are going to take off like a rocket ship, like one of Elon Musk's rockets when they do not explode, when they take off, and they go to somewhere, Mars, who knows? You guys are so funny. You guys, you folks, you ladies and gentlemen are really beautiful. You really are. It's time for me to go. I will be back. When will I be back? I will be back Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States of America, North Carolina. Bye-bye.